How to use that shit, bro.
All right, we're back. What?
Nothing.
Nothing. Shit.
So there's nothing going on in the world. Nothing at all.
Yeah, all is
Everything's peaceful.
well. Go back to bed. All right.
Nothing to report. We're just going to sit here and bullshit for an hour.
There's lots of nonsense going on. I mean,
God.
it's just lots of nonsense. It's a tsunami of nonsense. I don't know, man. The race is intensifying there for candidates, and everybody knows Donald Trump is
He's
leading the charge.
Leading in almost every measure he can lead.
Yeah. Then Nikki Haley's still pretending that she's got a snowball's chance.
That's the thing. I don't know why anybody from the other Republican candidates even thought they would make it past any of the polls. I mean, it's unreasonable given the circumstances. And Nikki Haley being, even if Donald Trump wasn't on the market at all, Nikki Haley wouldn't have a chance. Period.
Well,
I guess somebody like Ron DeSantis? Come on.
it's just being, I suppose they're being pragmatic because they have no idea where Trump's legal woes are going to take them.
True.
And there's a lot of...
The thing is, they've been trying for what, 3-4 years now to get him on a treason charge? Or something connected to treason?
They've been trying to get that
Sedition?
man... They've been trying to knock that dude off his pedestal...
Rebellion?
Since, yeah. Yeah, the unarmed...
Yeah, they tried everything.
The unarmed rebellion.
Yeah, the unarmed protest at the Capitol.
Yeah.
One person was shot and it was by police. Come on.
Yeah, but never mind the chop and the Chaz.
Right.
Never mind that. No, nothing to see here. The summer of love.
The summer of love. The burning of the country.
Yeah.
Chicago, New York, Boston,
Portland. Freaking parts of Austin.
Yeah, parts of Austin.
Washington, D.C. I mean,
I think Austin got it a little less just because we're so free with the guns down here.
Well, because a bunch of other people came over and beat the freaking snot out of them. Remember that?
Yeah.
Antifa freaking showed up, and
then the Texans showed up.
And then Texans showed up, and that lasted about as long as you expect it to, They got their asses kicked, and that was about it. I mean, but they've had a lot of significant protests. There's that one that soldier drove into.
Right.
And
the guy pulled an AK on him and he smoked him.
Yeah, now he's in jail.
And now he's in prison or jail. Is he still waiting trial? Is he done?
It's done.
He's in prison now?
Well, yeah, convicted him.
Self-defense.
They convicted him on his social media history.
Oh.
They determined intent through social media because he had said, pretty much let a motherfucker do, what I mean?
I wish a
motherfucker would. Shit like that, stuff like that.
Yeah.
He had said that, that he disliked those protests and all this other stuff, and had said a couple of choice things, and that's what they showed on the stand.
Wow, what a stretch.
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course they're gonna stretch the ball with him.
That's some damn good jury selection on the prosecution's part.
It's in Austin.
Yeah, no kidding.
You ain't gotta look for it.
Right.
So it's one of those
people
things.
out there watching that are from places other than Texas. Austin is extremely liberal part of Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Extremely liberal. Most of Texas avoids Austin.
Right.
Yeah. It's not just because of the traffic.
Yeah, it's a mess, man. But I mean, hell, they've taken away the I mean, they pretty much downsized police force down there. I mean, they're
from what I've heard, Austin PD is hurting.
Slim pickings.
It's hurting for cops.
Yeah, they ain't a whole lot going on. They ain't got a whole lot to fight crime down there. I mean, response times are through the roof. But I mean, it's just liberals are still doing their thing, and we'll see. Let me wait for what. You good there?
Eat a dick. I wasn't distracting the phone. I wasn't distracting the show at all.
Somebody is.
You let it distract you.
Yeah, but I mean, they've been trying to throw freaking Trump under the bus for a while now. The latest one was that $90-something million judgment that he got from that whack job.
Oh, the lady you're telling me about.
Yeah, they said that Donald Trump raped her back when she was pretty or something. I don't know, whatever. Yeah. And Donald basically said, I don't know, that whack job, and so she sued him for defamation, you know. So, and got awarded all that money. On top of the award that he got from that civil nonsense in New York, where they tried to freaking they tried to get him for they got him for fraud. Mm-hmm. It was a summary judgment, basically. Like, he didn't even go to trial. Like, he showed up to get his sentence.
Yeah.
Like, the judge had already ruled.
Yeah.
There was nothing, and they awarded themselves. I don't know how many millions, like $190-something million award.
Yeah.
For that real estate shit that he was doing over there, and that's. I mean, I don't know if you're familiar with it at all, or not at all. So Donald has applied for a bunch of loans and used properties as collateral. According to what they say, apparently he overinflated the cost of the properties.
Oh, it's a misrepresentation.
Yeah, but the banks concurred with the representations in value.
So not misrepresentation.
Awarded him the loan, which he paid back in full.
Okay, so where's the civil penalty?
The state of New York said that it's fraud.
For him to do that to a bank who agreed with it and issued the loan? Mm-hmm. How is New York making a complaint at all? New York's wouldn't be the injured party. The bank would be the injured party.
The bank declined to be part of that proceeding.
But New York claimed to be an injured party in that.
Right. Exactly.
That doesn't make any sense.
It's a shakedown.
Yeah, essentially. But I mean, a shakedown that shouldn't exist, because I mean, anybody outside looking in would be saying the same thing I am. How the hell is New York the injured party there? That's a civil liability thing between the bank and the customer.
It's a shakedown. It's a shakedown. They're shaking them down for millions.
And the thing is, if New York or if the state of New York thought that there was anything funny going on, the first thing they would do is go after the banks. Because now I'm thinking, if I'm a prosecutor working for New York and I'm looking at this case like, hey, this guy misrepresented his the property value and the banks issued him a loan based on the property values. It's like, well, how is the bank tied with this? Now I'm thinking the banks are in cahoots with him, making this deal where they're getting some kind of cutback from it. Mm-hmm. I mean, my first reaction is the first thing you go to is the banks. I don't give a damn how much money Donald Trump does or doesn't have. The banks have more. Lots more.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happened, and he didn't even get a chance to represent himself in court and plead his case or nothing.
And the court just said,
judgment.
Yeah, this happened, and now you're going to pay the state of New York $200 million.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shakedown. They're just trying to bankrupt this guy.
Yeah, that's pretty hokey.
They're trying to take funds away from him in any way, shape, or form. You know.
The thing is, appeals. It's going to be a while before he pays a dime towards anything, if he ever does. Because I imagine he can appeal that for a long time.
Oh, yeah, they did a similar thing to Alice Jones.
Ooh. Yep.
I mean,
what was his? Was it like the $1 billion?
It was like the GDP of Australia, or
something like that. Yeah,
it's like almost $1 trillion or some crazy.
I think it was like $1 billion.
Yeah,
it was like the highest.
It was a lot. It was
the highest for like a single person to get a judgment against him.
They didn't make any sense.
It was ridiculous. Yeah.
It was like when you remember You remember as a kid, like when you talk about money or things or numbers,
right?
1 gazillion trillion bazillion dollars. You know, that's pretty much what they did over there. I was like, how much money? Oh, 1 bazillion quadrillion dollars. What? What are you talking about?
Sure, that's not a number.
I mean, yeah. It's just, I mean, that's where we're at, man.
One Gogol.
What?
No, what's a Gogol is?
6.
I don't remember how many digits behind it. It's a 1 and like a million digits behind it or something like that.
Yeah, well, but yeah, it's that shit didn't make no sense, man. But they're trying to bankrupt them, and they're trying to do whatever they can to keep them out of the White House.
Oh, it's a 1 followed by 100 zeros. That's what it is.
Okay.
100 zeros.
Yeah, they're terrified of the prospect of him winning the election.
See, that's the thing I wish people would actually recognize. So, like, if you got this many shitty politicians worried about one guy coming in, you should probably take a good look at that one guy. Why are they worried about him? Why? On the surface, looks like he can't be controlled.
The thing is that they're creating the narrative for the everyday folk. You know, and I wouldn't say the everyday folks, some of the everyday folks.
Well, I mean, I think you're exactly right when you say everyday folks, because I mean, we are not the everyday folks. Mm-mm. We are part of a small percentage of this country's population. We are both service professionals. Mm-hmm. We were in the military. Just us being combat veterans puts us in a 1% category. Mm-hmm. Only 1% of the American population ever enlists.
Yeah, I mean, that's the point of this podcast in the first place, is just to get people to look at what we're looking and dig for yourself. Start looking at things for yourself. Correct us if we're wrong, but at the same time, just kind of like look at what we're looking at and find out, and then dig in there too, because we're digging, but we got the same resources that you guys do. You know what I mean? So I
creeped a girl out the other week.
Oh God.
Oh yeah.
What'd you do?
It was like last month or something like that. I was talking to this girl. Ended up ghosting her. But anyway.
Did you guess her panty color or
something? No, I told her her address.
Bro.
Just to prove that I could. Because we got in a little spat. It's like, I don't know how it started. I really don't care. It's like, oh, you don't know much about me. It's like, I can tell you your address. He's like, no, there's no way you can. Watch this. You live at blah, 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 up this street. And her jaw dropped. We're like, yeah. We were on video chat. Yeah. That's just me using Google.
Yeah.
That's nothing special. That's just the internet.
Yeah, that's yeah, I did that to some tool that was trolling me online.
It's not hard to do. If you know what to do, if you know the tools to use, it's not hard to do. It's very easy.
Well, he had just posted a picture, and I went through the metadata of the picture.
Nice.
Yeah. So
you can see if it was been augmented, see when it was taken, where it was taken, all that stuff.
Yeah, I got a GPS lat long of where exactly the picture was taken.
You could turn that off. But
and it was what part of his house. Like, yeah.
Oof. Yep.
He was sitting on the toilet, according to the blueprints. I sent him all that shit, too. Nice. Fucking freaked him out. He was talking all kinds of shit. I was like, don't make me go out there, bro. He's like, you don't even know fucking where I'm at. Fucking blah, blah, blah. I sent him all that stuff. I was like, this is where you're at, bro.
That's nuts, yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, come on, bro.
Yeah.
I was like, we can creep people out like that, man, but...
It's just using Google. There are tools on Google that you can, if you know what they are, you can do it very easily.
Yeah, that's
I'm not going to say what they are because it's dangerous, and it creeps people out.
But I'm telling you, they're just changing the narrative for the everyday folk. it's unfortunate because if you go through life, nose in the grindstone,
right.
All you know about Donald Trump is that he's allegedly some racist, sexist, bigot that has 90-something counts
right.
waiting for trial, and convicted rapist and all this other stuff, because that's what they paint. And like, out of everything I said, only like maybe 2 of those are true. So, and it's on the surface, like it's all lacking context, so yeah, you could say 90-something counts of whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure, but let's go through the counts and let's find out what's
actually in there.
It's actually in there,
Yeah.
And then, you're a convicted rapist. Not quite. That's not what it is. So a lady accused them of possibly raping her back in the day, and all this. So they went civil, didn't go criminal for a reason, because they don't have beyond reasonable doubt evidence to prove that.
Right.
But they have preponderance according to very subjective audience. So, and they made awards. There's a lot of, look, what I do know about billionaires is that they're not gonna pull the wang out without making people sign for an NDA.
Too much to lose, man. Too much to risk.
That's just that. I mean, hell, Eminem the rapper was doing that before he was a multimillionaire. I mean, it's it's people that have that much money in the bank, they're definitely not gonna throw all that away,
right,
without a decent fight. They're gonna protect it as best they can.
Right.
I mean, it's crazy, man. There's more than meets the eye. And then, of course, we covered last time the stuff that he's got going on in Georgia, where the prosecuting attorney, the DA, hired her fuck buddy.
Yeah.
And so she's being investigated. She's under investigation now, and that's concurrent to his actual investigation. So it's all moving. It's moving simultaneously, like on 2 different paths. This broad's under investigation. She, in turn, is trying to prosecute Donald Trump for some election interference or RICO violations or some of the federal racketeering stuff, and it's hogwash, man. It's all hogwash. They can't. But to the average Joe, this dude, they're trying to make him look unfit.
Right.
He's an unfit guy for this. But I mean, so Donald Trump's not my favorite person in the world. I have my reasons behind the way I feel about him, but I'm not voting for personality. I'm voting for substance and policy.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like, yeah. I approach. You're not gonna like everybody all the time, and being likable isn't a defining quality of whether you can actually lead.
True. Actually, more often than not, the unlikable person is the better leader.
Yeah, I've met some very good leaders that have been very likable and very good leaders, and I've met the opposite. Guys that are just, I can't stand them, but they know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
So you have to recognize those qualities. And it's just kind of like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't like him personally, like as a person.
Right.
And I know of some of the things that he's done to people in the past, and when he was a developer, and he hung a lot of people out to dry. With every time, so think about every time one of his businesses went for bankruptcy in the middle of a project. There were developers, there were small business owners that had already done work that didn't get paid. He crushed a lot of mom and pop businesses in his rise to the top. I mean, so.
I never read his book before. From what I understand, like the footnotes about his book.
All right.
He's a ruthless businessman.
He's a ruthless businessman. Yeah.
He doesn't care.
No, he don't.
If you're in the way of him making a buck, you're going to get out of the way.
Yeah.
One way or the other.
Yeah. I mean, he's crushed
a
lot of people.
He's a ruthless businessman.
He's crushed a lot of people. And I can't stress that. I mean, that's just my personal view.
And he's a master at branding.
Well, I mean, shit.
Put the Trump logo on anything, it sells.
Well, hell, it's part of our lexicon,
Right, the Trump card.
I'm
pretty sure that comes from somewhere else, but still.
What trumps,
Exactly.
something to trump. It's an adjective. It's a verb. You know what I mean? Like it's he transcends a lot of things, but at the same time, I don't like him personally as a person, but we got to start looking in the future as well. These guys are in their 70s,
80s.
We have problems.
So how old is Biden? 82?
Bro, in his early 80s.
Yeah.
So every day after 70, 75, I think, it's a blessing.
Yeah.
Like, you wake up that day, bro. Whew,
That's a good thing to.
That's a good thing.
Google.
It's excuse me. But it's just one of those things, man. Like, we got to start looking at the future. We got these candidates that are freaking.
I just looked up the current life expectancy for a male in the United States.
Right.
77 years old.
Right. So they're both like. So both these guys are trying to go out for a job that's one of the most, if not the most stressful jobs the world has ever known.
Anywhere.
It's
there was a fun fact I heard from somewhere. It's like, what is the most dangerous job in the United States? Where like what was it, like 1 in 5 people die doing it. President of the United States, because only like 46 or 47 people have ever done it, and there's been like 5 or 6 assassinations. So
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's true, but yeah, it's misleading. But
yeah.
But it is true enough. It's a stressful as fuck job. I mean, every time a president comes in, everybody always makes a comment like they go in looking a certain way, they come out white haired.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Yeah, look, fucking Clinton looks like Ghoul. I mean, and then freaking, the Bushes, both of them.
Yeah, it happened to both Bushes. I remember it happened to Clinton. It happened to Obama.
Obama turned white in front of our very eyes.
He turned white.
Yeah. Well, he is half white. So
he is half white, yeah.
So he turned white in front of our very eyes, man. That was crazy. No pun intended, but that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
But, he turned gray right in front of us.
Yeah. I think it happened to Reagan too. I wasn't alive and conscious of things when Reagan was in office, but
yeah, I was a little bit, but I was just a little itty bitty. But right. It's one of those things that you're looking at one of the most stressful jobs on the planet, and our best options for these are these old people that we wouldn't let drive on the freeway.
Right, we let them run the country. Yeah.
I mean, you guys know what it's like. Have you guys been stuck behind some blue hair or whatever, some really really old person on the highway? It's like, or watch them make a left turn into somewhere, and you're like,
I was about to comment on that.
Mother of Christ, turn for the love of God!
Because I got to drive on back roads quite a bit.
Yeah.
And get behind somebody, and they're going the speed limit, and they're just going the speed limit. I'm fine with that. I don't speed a lot.
Right.
But then they start slowing down. They go 500, and then 1000, and then 1500. It's like, what are you doing? They're slowing down like 500 yards before a turn. It's like, are you kidding me, dude? Been slowing down for like a mile and a half or something. It's like ridiculous.
Like, I want, like, sometimes, like, or you'll have a turning lane, and that'll go for a while. Like, it's its own lane, damn near, through the length of the avenue. Turning lane, get in it, slow down, make your turn. They'll slow down, and then get in the turning lane, and then turn. And you just want to drag them people out by their hairs and beat them with a baseball bat. It's a crazy shit. But the people that do that are running for president. Just picture that. These people that if you check, if Biden didn't have somebody tending his phone, he'd have like 900 freaking open tabs on Google. One of those things. Oh, my phone don't work when you open Google. And I've done this as a police officer, gone to somebody's house because people can't get a hold of Meemaw,
Mm-hmm.
go over there, check their phone, and then I was like, well, your phone is lagging because, and then you get on Google, and there's like
Yep.
900 pages open with recipes and whatever, and all the things they've been searching for the last 2 to 5 years. They're still open, and they've never reset the phone, never turned it off, whatever. These guys are running for president, guys that do this stuff.
Yep.
So we got to start looking towards the future, and start paying attention to who can actually start looking pragmatically beyond these two candidates that we got, and see how the picture's going to look in the next in the following 8, not this
Right.
these coming 8, these coming 4, which is why I think the Republican Party is kind of falling on their face on this, because they're not thinking. It doesn't appear, at least, that they're thinking several moves ahead. But I mean, who knows? But in the meantime, I mean, the liberals are just causing as much ruckus as they can cause, and as much disruption as they can. And
Oh yeah, they're trying to repopulate the United States.
yeah.
So it's been going on for several years, and now looks like it's either coming to a head or possibly get shut down. Who knows? Who's going to win that fight?
Yeah, I mean, we got the border issue, and so Joe Biden eliminated all of these policies that permitted this crisis to take place. He eliminated these things day one. Now he's on camera asking for executive powers to close the border.
Right.
We're like, wait a minute. What powers did you use to open it up? It's like, stop asking people for power. You had the power.
Yeah.
And you fucked it up. If you hadn't done anything, like if he would have just sat in the Oval Office and not done anything with those policies and let it be, we wouldn't be nowhere near where we're at right now.
But wasn't that one of those the day one things?
Yeah,
that
he did in day
Yeah.
one. Did in day one. He freaking destroyed the freaking border policies day one, and now we're sitting at. I mean, they got over 15 million freaking encounters, and you could probably double that, or the people that didn't.
Yeah, easily. Yeah.
Easily probably double that, or the amount of people that they never got caught. It's bonkers, and then freaking. This fight that we got going on, this standoff, basically here in Eagle Pass. So I don't know. Apparently, there's a legal port of entry near Eagle Pass,
Yeah.
like 2 miles down the road.
Yeah. It has been. Yeah.
Like, so what the hell is the deal with the park?
Well, because it's an easier place to cross. So the park has a boat ramp.
Oh, so that okay.
Yeah.
So they're
That's why the park has a boat ramp. That's the big part that's being that got all the razor wire on it, because there's a concrete part of that park that gets behind the baseball fields, and it actually goes into the Rio Grande, and it's not very far. The Rio Grande is pretty narrow right there, so it's a pretty quick crossing, and a lot of folks' families live in Eagle Pass. So they just pass back and forth on the border, whatever. But now that's nigh on impossible because of the razor wire.
That's weird. I mean, so there's definitely a way to get in legally just down the road.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but
for sure.
they definitely want to come through there because they don't want to come in legally. But
Yeah, Eagle
It's,
Pass, Texas boat ramp on Rio Grande. That's what you need to look
Okay.
at, and that's in Shelby Park.
okay. Which is ironically named after General Joseph Orville Shelby, known as the Undefeated Rebel, Confederate general. He famously fled to Mexico in 1865 rather than surrender to Union forces. Fled through that boat ramp.
I wouldn't doubt it. It's really narrow right there, so I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah,
it's a good place to cross.
That's why the park is named after. That's where
he crossed.
That's where he crossed.
And it looks like if you go up the river a little north up the river, it looks like it's actually pretty shallow there too.
That's where General Joseph Orville Shelby crossed.
Huh.
So.
Yeah. The Eagle Pass International Bridge number 1. That's the legal port of entry.
Okay.
And it is just south of Shelby Park.
Right. Yeah, that's what I thought. I mean, I thought I read that somewhere, but I'm like, these freaking assholes.
Or am I mistaken?
They're over here fighting over the... No, there's a legal port of entry.
There is. No. I just think the one I just said is probably not the one. Oh, there we go. It's a little bit further south of that bridge. It's Camino Real International Bridge, and that is the port of entry. I can see the building there. And
yeah.
So...
I mean...
Yeah, Camino Real.
Just...
Yeah, it's not far. It's a couple miles.
So 25 states have sworn.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Yeah. The National Guard...
right now, well, sorry to interrupt you, but right now, Greg Abbott's all over Twitter saying, like, oh, if you stand with Texas, sign this petition. Man, be careful about signing that petition because, I mean, keep in mind, Greg Abbott is a politician. I support Greg Abbott. I support this whole thing that's going on. Greg Abbott is a politician, and he has, like, political campaigns to run. That petition is to get your number so they can send you, like, give us money texts.
Well, for me, it's a list of names.
It can be that uses that too if the names are kept in a base. But I mean, but it's also requiring you, or not. I don't know if it's requiring it, but they're asking you to give your number too. So it can be used as that.
It's a list of names.
Yeah,
you gotta be careful with these petitions and with all this other stuff. Some of them could be fraudulent too. So
I mean, look what they're doing with January 6th. Like anybody they can barely recognize through those videos, they're going after them. They're going after them for criminal penalties and years in prison.
Bro,
if something happens with Texas and you pledged support,
bro, if you used an ATM in Washington D.C. on January 6th, they know you were there. They know you used that ATM. They've looked into you already. Yeah. So it's that deep. So, but ask them. You guys can ask if any of the people that basically seceded in Portland and took over 6 blocks of downtown Portland, if any of those people saw jail time.
What was that place called? The Chaz, right?
The Chaz.
Yeah.
It was first the
Chop.
The Chop or
something
whatever.
Like that.
They changed the name because it was I
don't remember what the hell it stands for.
It was the autonomous zone.
Yeah, autonomous zone.
I forget what it was standing for, but they changed the name because it was alluding to a secession. It didn't look right.
Yeah.
So
the government could claim that as open rebellion.
Yeah, they're gonna send a couple Bradleys over here and just fix this thing real quick.
What's that base up in Washington?
Fort Lewis McChord.
Yeah, Fort Lewis.
Yeah, Ranger Bat.
Good luck, bro.
Home of Ranger Battalion. So one of them.
Striker units are up there.
Mm-hmm. 2nd Infantry.
Yeah, 2nd Infantry Division. The 3rd Brigade? 3rd Brigade, I think.
Ghosts.
I don't know.
That's what they were called.
That was the 2nd Infantry. I was in Korea. Yeah. 2nd Brigade.
Yeah, but, I mean, it's, so it just sounded, treasonous.
Yeah.
So they changed it, to what it ended up being. And in the end, I think the American population is kind of tone deaf to a lot of this stuff, and the patience level is like through the roof. Where these people are doing all these crazy nonsense things, and nobody's checking them. And I know of a few cases right now with some of these politicians. They should have been drugged behind the freaking trailer hitch of a pickup truck a long time ago.
You and I both know, and I keep saying it on here. We keep bitching about these politicians, but you know damn well the laws don't apply to them.
Nope.
The laws only apply to them when they piss off their other partners.
Nope.
They piss off another Democrat that's already in seat. Yeah. It's like, okay, we already had this shit hanging over your head. Now you're going to pay for it because you're not doing you're not voting the way I want you to vote.
It's bananas.
That's the only way that politicians actually get like criminal charges and shit is when they don't go by the party line because they're already criminals. They've already got dirt on them. They've already got something on them.
Yeah, it's
the same kind of bullshit, man. It's just It's over and over again. It's the same wash, rinse, and repeat. Same shit.
I don't know, man. This is very goofy.
Yeah, but I mean, no, they're in the land. Well, hell, no time in history have the subjects being talked about right now been talked about at the same time. Right now, on all social media, World War III and Civil War are trending.
Yeah, crazy, ain't it?
Like every day.
Yeah, it's just
World War III and Civil War, because of the shit going on the border between Texas and the federal government. It's putting us in a very close position to Civil War. Now, from what I've seen and what I've read too, is like people like us, people like anybody else, just looking at this is taking it a lot more seriously than the people that are actually making power moves, like the governor of Texas or the president of the United States.
Right.
They're not really taking it that seriously because, I mean,
no,
they're not. Neither one of them are going to go to war over it.
No, this is.
They're going to try to make each other look like assholes. That's what they're trying to do.
This is being litigated in the courts. Right. This is being dealt with
so far
at the diplomatic level. But the thing is that, so I got it on good authority from. I got friends everywhere, and the guys on the border patrol agents that are down there, they had no issues with the National Guard people.
Yeah.
And nor they have issues with DPS, with the state police. I mean, they have no issues with those people. I mean, the guys on the ground at the ground level. There's no. They're not like looking at each other like North and South Korea. Right. It's just not. That's just not the case.
I wouldn't figure it would.
This is a policy issue, and it's being looked at by the people on the ground as such. It's not like when the deadline passed, the Fed said, "All right, let's act now because we can." And they could have. So, and they didn't. They stood their ground. They wait for the political process to do its thing. Mm-hmm. Point is that guys on the ground aren't looking at each other as combatants. It's just what it is. They're in a stalemate, and that's where they're at.
Right.
But the situation could escalate, and the problem is that the situations like that are usually just one gunshot away, one negligent discharge away from tragedy. So I hope that whoever goes down there and the people that are involved down there just kind of hold their cool and just kind of wait for the policy whatever policy decisions got to be made and whatever things get done, and don't try to take that stuff onto yourself, in your own hands, because it's in the end, a lot of this stuff has been ruled. There's laws against it, We're not in a declared state of civil war or anything like that. You can't just go around shooting people. So don't, it's kind of hold what you got, because there's like a couple 100,000 truckers on the way down there right now. I mean, they're there already. I mean,
they got there yesterday.
It's a scary freaking proposition, man.
There's the thing. Texas is already. Governor Abbott's already put out the thing like they need volunteers down at the border.
They're doing it for the right. I mean, I believe they're doing it for the right reasons.
Also, I've heard a rumor. I've heard a rumor. This is a rumor. But I've heard a rumor that there are quite a few Border Patrol agents that have been down on the border for years. They've been working with these DPS guys and these National Guard guys that are trying to get out of Border Patrol and get into a Texas agency. They're flipping. They're not trying to support the federal government anymore because of what the federal government's trying to do.
I mean, I wouldn't put.
They don't agree with Biden's policies anyway about an open border thing. They're trying to stop the overflow of immigration.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past them. It's just not that Texas has a right to defend itself.
Yeah, absolutely.
And has a right.
I believe that's true as hell. Yeah.
It's no matter what that unfortunate decision from the Supreme Court came up to, which is weird because they have case law.
Yeah.
That supports the Texas case. I believe it's. Oh, don't quote me. Is it? I want to say it was Virginia versus U.S. I forget. There's case law that supports the.
I'll take your word for it.
It's out there. I read on it. I forgot, but there is case law that supports what Texas is doing, and they ruled even against that case law, which is kind of weird. But
Well, I mean, the Supreme Court decision was split 5-4.
Right.
So
apparently, Amy Coney Barrett was the deciding vote that went to 5. But I mean, I just don't understand why it's split at all, other than politics. Because
I don't know. I'd have to read the decision and the dissent from the Supreme Court.
Well, the thing is that you got. Yeah, but this is a situation of right and wrong.
Well, I mean, that's what the court is there for. Well, it's not even a right and wrong thing. The court is there to decide if something is a constitutional decision or a non-constitutional decision.
There's laws against what's happening in the books already.
And I think what the court probably had an issue with was determining whether the federal government has actually been negligent in its duties. That's the thing. If the court had to decide that, then that's kind of that's a tripwire area right there. You're going to say that the federal government's been negligent in its duties to protect the states? That's a big one. To say that in the Supreme Court, that's a big one.
Well, I mean, I'd like to find evidence to the contrary.
I agree.
It just isn't. I mean, you're looking at it on its face. It looks
I agree with that.
Straight up neglect.
Yes. It looks like this is being done purposefully.
Purposefully.
The federal government is allowing a porous border to allow the massive influx of Latin American and South American people and people from every other country on the planet.
They're all out of Latin Americans right now. They're all out. They're all up here. Those guys are.
Now they got Middle Easterners, Asians.
What we're getting right now is freaking Chinese and freaking Africans from like. Bro, they're Shanghaiing people into the United States, bro. There's a video out there of this freelance journalist over there, or TikToker, or whatever the hell he is, driving around freaking Georgia. And there's packs of Africans in street like corners, and he's asking them questions, and they're like,
"Where are you from?
Boonga, 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 boonga." They have no idea.
You're going to have to cut that shit out.
Well, that's what they said.
Boonga, boonga thing.
But, I mean, they're clicking, bro. They're trying to communicate. They're trying to communicate, and that's what it sounds like. Freaking, they're trying to communicate, and nothing out there. Freaking making clicking noises, and they have no idea where they're at. They don't know where they're going. Dude, that's fucked up, man. You freaking drop off these people.
We're trying to produce an inclusive podcast with
this is inclusive. If you know what I said, let me know. If you can translate. I mean, dude, come on, man.
I got you.
This is insane, man. You got terrorists at the border freaking shouting out their boys. It's like, oh, you don't know who I am?
Oh, I saw
you're
that guy
about to find out, son.
Yeah, that's all.
Bro, you're a freaking legit terrorist, been convicted of terrorism.
Yeah.
Through the border, his family.
Jordanian, wasn't he?
Jordanian, yeah. Spent time in prison for terrorism. How is that guy? So that's my thing. Like, we are one gunshot away from a tragedy. Because how are you going to tell a red-blooded American that's down there to protect our country, because the government won't, because they won't.
Yeah.
They flat out will not. That's why those people are down there. Runs into somebody like that speaks English and starts talking crazy, has no rights. They're not American citizen. They may have human rights. They have no rights. You're here illegally. You're trespassing. If that person gets smoked, somebody just canoes this dude. Bow. What are you going to do? You going to throw the patriot in jail? He's a murderer now? I'm telling you, there's some legalese here that are that's dicey, man.
Getting smoked for crossing the border. That guy is
smoked for. I can see it. I can see a tragedy or a misstep or something. I mean, hell, they did it on January 6th. January 6th, the feds got involved. They sent a bunch of They had so many undercover agents that when they were questioned under Congress, they couldn't answer.
Yeah.
They're like, they can't answer how many they had on the ground.
Yeah, because they just didn't know.
They just had no idea.
Yeah.
How many? They had no idea how many.
That's the thing. The FBI is a huge department. It's a huge department. They have sub-departments.
Yeah.
They don't know from which department these undercover.
Yeah, they also have subcontractors.
Exactly.
However, they had so many on January 6th on the ground, they had no idea.
Yeah.
Hell, they finally reeled in freaking that dude, Ray Epps, and gave him like a little slap on the wrist to kind of, oh yeah, we prosecuted him, and
he was the main one calling for the actual storming of the Capitol.
He's calling for the storming of the Capitol, and everybody started yelling, Fed, Fed, Fed.
Yeah.
And then in the end, he finally got a little, oh, you're trespassing, blah, blah. So now they've closed the door on that, so now they can't try him twice for the same crime.
Right.
So they basically absolved him of double jeopardy. Yeah, I'm telling you, these guys are slick, man. Yeah. They're slick. And, I mean, so all it takes is somebody to instigate something. And we've seen it through history. I mean, it's not just, you got the weird stuff that happened on 9/11. You got a lot of thread to cut through there. You got the Gulf of Tonkin. You got, I mean, Iran-Contra. You got, when you have a government that has such an extensive history of doing weird, subversive stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
the United States is famous the world over for shit like that.
And that's my where I'm sitting at the edge of my seat.
Well, that might be what a lot of people don't understand when an American talks about love of country. They're not talking about the government. We know the government's
no.
I like the country because of what kind of people are in it.
And
how much like diverse landscape is here. It's ridiculous.
Right.
It's every environment and every type of terrain in the world in this country.
Dude,
that's why I like it.
Dude, it's not just that, but we have such a diverse population when it comes to not just cultures and opinions and everything. And but this stuff with the politics is gotten to the point where a guy with my views, and I'm more like right of center, you know, I can't get a devout freaking liberal to talk.
Right.
I'm not talking debate. I'm not talking to scream at each other. I'll prove you wrong. No. I'm talking about just a conversation. Like, I can't get somebody to just explain to me your point of view, because I like to learn. Explain to me your point of view and why you think that way, and we can have a conversation. Maybe you do have something that makes sense. You know, maybe you don't. But I mean, I'll be the judge of that with my own decisions. But we can have a conversation. It's crazy. And growing up, when I grew up, we could have people over for dinner. Some were Democrats, some were Libertarians, some were Republican, and whatever. And they were still playing dominoes and having a beer, and it didn't really make a difference. Yeah. But now it's to the point where, if you're not on their side, you're a Trumper.
Right.
And that's the latest. And that's the latest. I've been called to that a couple times the last couple weeks. That's like, okay, but just because I don't think like you, that don't make me a Donald Trump toady at all. It's just, I just don't think like you.
That's the kind of like sandline political.
Yeah, it's fanaticism. It's fanaticism.
Well, I mean, it harkens back to
like sports,
old Leninism.
Right.
So going back to when Lenin did the Bolshevik Revolution, I mean, if you're not with us, you're against us.
Mm-hmm. Either red, you're white.
That's an old school revolutionary way of thinking.
Red,
and
white.
Exactly.
There's
red
no middle.
White. They were the Soviets were the Reds.
No middle. We catch you in the middle. You got to make a decision now, for your life.
Yep.
You got to make it. If we catch you, we're cordial now, but you got to make a decision today.
Yep.
Or you're dying.
But I mean,
it's crazy.
Other people said the same thing too. It's like that's my take on it. This is what it reminds me of. It reminds me of reading history about how Lenin took the Bolsheviks into a state of power over the Tsar and his empire, and that's how it was done. It was a sand line thing. It's like, here's a line in the sand. You're either with us or you're against us.
Right.
And that's what's going on now. And the thing is, that was like a Russian political thing that was a grassroots thing. Mm-hmm. And you're seeing the same shit in the United States. And it's crazy that it's so widespread.
Yeah, it's
crazy.
It's insane. And like, for instance, if we take the conflict in Israel.
Yeah.
So, I can be pro the defense of Israel and against the murder of children.
Right.
I can be pro-Israel and opposed to the way they go about it.
Yeah.
That's perfectly reasonable. I also acknowledge that the Palestinians have been an issue for the entire planet, at least that side of the planet, for thousands of years.
There is evidence of that.
Thousands of years. That nobody's been able to please these people. Thousands of years. So what do you do with a population that has literally not grown out of hate they've had for thousands and thousands of years? That you can't please. They refuse to negotiate with Israel right now.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want a two-state solution.
Yeah.
They want those people gone forever. So now when the other side that actually can make them gone forever is doing it, it's a problem. Well, I'm opposed to genocide completely. Vehemently opposed to genocide. I can't stand those freaking pictures of freaking kids dead everywhere. The thing is that as a war fighter, as a person that's been there, I've seen war up close, personal. Because I wasn't a petroleum specialist or anything like that. So I wasn't in the rear with the gear. I was up front where the rubber meets the road. So I hate it. I hate seeing it. But what other recourse is there? Because every time you cease fire, they do something to you. There's just they're martyring themselves, and people are failing to understand that they are getting exactly what they're giving.
Yeah.
To my knowledge, there wasn't mass killing of Palestinians happening before October 7th. Yeah, the situation may have not been ideal.
Right.
But there's a reason. Because when it was ideal, they ended up blowing buses. Not just one, but multiple. They suicide bombers climbing a bus right down the center of Tel Aviv, skadoosh, killing freaking everybody and their mothers going to work, school, play, whatever.
Yeah.
They put in their charter, in their founding charter, the eradication of Israel. They don't want nobody from the river to the sea.
Yeah.
I'm opposed to what I'm looking at, but I'm also recognizing that I don't think there's any other solution. Because for thousands of years, people have been negotiating with these people. Nothing doing. Thousands. This is generational. Like a lot of people have been born and died. And it's the same way of thinking.
Yeah.
Generation through generation through generation through generation through generation. I've met four Palestinians my whole life that didn't think like that.
I met one, I think.
I met four, maybe five. Yeah, five. But one of them, it wasn't a friend of mine. And we went to school together. They're fine. We had Jews in our class.
This one I met in the Army.
Yeah, we had Jews in our class. They were fine. All of them. They talked to each other.
Yeah.
They're fine. We did school projects together. Palestinians and Jews. We were in a soccer team together.
Well, that's the thing.
There's no issues. There's no issues. So
my personal opinion, Palestine is being kept around as a political linchpin.
I believe that it's...
That's what they are.
But it's created that weird line in the sand where people that would normally not support a terrorist organization, because that's what it is, they're supporting these.
Mm-hmm. That's why I say it's a political linchpin.
And I believe is a bit of a syndrome of underdog syndrome. Is part of it.
There's the same reason why people back in the 80s and the 70s and the 80s would call out their support for the IRA. the Irish Republican Army.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they would call it their support for the IRA, even though the IRA was doing the same damn thing. They were bombing buses. They were bombing bars. They were bombing pretty much any little place that people just gathered. And that's what the IRA was. They were just a terrorist organization. But people in the United States especially would call out their support for the IRA. Terrorist is a terrorist is a terrorist. I don't give a fuck. Kill them all.
Yeah, so the thing is that I believe, like, and I've said this several episodes in a row, like, it's to say pretty much the same thing. I believe we have a problem with language. Mm-hmm. So people are starting to forget what things mean, what words mean, and what they actually are. A group that would, through violence, try to exert a political view is a terrorist group.
I disagree with that definition. I want to add something to it.
You could add to it.
No. I want to add one very clear thing that I think is necessary to define a terrorist. So everything you just said, but use violence against non-military targets.
Against non-military targets.
So you're hitting civilians to exact that political change. Yeah, you're a terrorist. Mm-hmm. Now, if you're hitting army bases, you're hitting soldiers to try to do that. I can understand that. That's a war of attrition. It's a guerrilla warfare. It's asymmetrical warfare, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. But if you're doing that to civilians who have no idea that they're in a fight,
but the thing is that
can't fight, That's
so the thing is that what I know from asymmetrical warfare, especially the type of warfare that's being fought in Gaza and by the Palestinians, mainly, you got to understand that to die for that cause is a good thing.
Yeah.
So they may wave around their dead children to the cameras but know that they have martyred their own families for that cause, for the optics that are now created this division. This is on purpose. These people will, and there's plenty of video evidence of that out there. It's not something you got to dig too deep. There's plenty of stuff on LiveLeak. There's plenty of stuff on Funker. There's plenty of stuff on some of these other websites. But you'll see these Hamas dudes freaking carrying out indirect fire operations with their entire families next to the cannons.
Yep.
Knowing that there's a high probability you're going to get counter battery once they figure out your point of origin, once the poo gets tallied up, which is pretty much instant nowadays. So once the poo's identified, counter batteries coming, and and they got their families out there filming, and their families out there cheering, and they're singing, and they're having a good old time. And then what's being shown to the media, to the world, is the aftermath of that. Mm-hmm. These are the same people that take over hospitals, they take over mosques, they take over and they utilize it in offensive operations, knowing that international rules of the law of armed conflict, the law prohibits to attacking freaking places of worship and medical centers, but they are pragmatically using that to get everybody else to violate the law of armed conflict.
I know in Iraq they did it.
They did in Sadr City to us. They did in Sadr City
using ambulances as attack vehicles.
They did it in Fallujah. Yeah. They did it in Baghdad.
Did they ever do anything like that in Afghanistan? I imagine they did, but
I mean, yes and no. But the thing is that Afghanistan was more provincial, so you'll have. A lot of the fighting was done outside of the cities. Right. Afghans and even the Taliban, they see things a little different. They're different. So unless they were in the defense of a major city like Kandahar, Jalalabad, Kabul, you didn't see a whole lot of that. And there was a lot of reason for pause because the infrastructure is already in the Middle Ages. So if we were to launch a full-scale assault into a hospital, for instance, after the battle's won, we got 10 million different problems that we got to fix, like quick, fast, in a hurry, because people get sick every fucking day.
Yep. So
it was one of those things that wasn't as prevalent as when you're dealing with AQI. And ISIS and some of these other factions like freaking Hezbollah, Boko Haram, and freaking those other idiots. God damn it! They're northern Israel. The other guys, Hezbollah. Yeah, I say Hezbollah, Hamas. Yeah, I did say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so.
So I know you don't mean the Kurds.
No. Kurds, cool people, man. Freaking, I mean, they may be terrorists to the Turks, but I mean, the Turks got a pretty sketch past anyway. So.
I don't know enough about that conflict to comment on it. So.
Well, I mean.
I've met Kurd people. They seem great to me.
They're fantastic.
But they thinking I was a soldier at the time, so.
Yeah, but I tell you, man, it's a mess. It's a mess. That whole thing up there is a mess, and they've created the optics to distract people from what was actually going on, and I'm telling you, it's not what it seems. When you see freaking footage of these dusty babies, you know, whatever. Right. They've used dolls. They've used that's been caught. Yeah. That's been caught as well. They've used freaking movie magic, freaking, you know, latex freaking kids and stuff like that. Dress them up and dust them up and whatever, and carry them around. So it's hard to be, for me. It's I hate to see it, but it's hard to be 100% sympathetic without revision. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I gotta look into it before I freaking lean one way or the other, because. Right. But the average folk, all they see is murder. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
That's what they see. They see murder. They don't see that this kid is dead and his dad is alive and he's clean. All his kids are dirty as shit. And this dude is fresh. He don't have a speck of dust on him. He's like, well, why is he alive? Oh, yeah, because he wasn't home. But what did he do? You know, he wasn't where these kids were. He wasn't there. Well, he was fighting.
Yeah.
He was fighting. They got his address. They got something. They fucking probably dropped a knocker. They're like, get the fuck out of here. And people, what? Skadoosh. You know, it's, dude, come on, man. Like, there's a lot going on down there. Now the Houthis are...
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so the Houthis are getting their ass kicked.
I was about to make a comment on that. It's like, they just did the retaliatory strike, 85 targets.
The Houthis are getting freaking... They're getting wiped off the board here. You know, we
85 targets in Iraq and Syria, 36 Houthi sites in Yemen.
So... The Houthis are playing with like two dice here, you know. It's just like
the Houthis. I don't know enough about the Houthis to call them a terrorist organization. From what I understand about the Houthi movement, it was a rebel thing. Like, they just rebelled against the Yemeni government, and that's what happened. They split off. They carved off a little piece of Yemen, and that's where they've pretty much been stalemated for like the last decade. But as far I don't know enough about the Houthis, period. So. I don't give a shit to look it up either.
Well, the Iranians have been backing them up, and you know,
because the Yemeni government's friendly to the United States.
Yeah, but these yahoos, I mean,
yeah,
they murked out, and they've been causing a lot of issues. But they've been getting. Seems like every day they're just rolling for initiative. You know, just.
Yeah,
it's just getting.
They involved themselves in the Palestinian conflict with Israel.
They involved themselves in international affairs there, and try to punch above their weight.
Yeah, they started attacking ships in the Gulf of Aden,
and that's the thing.
Bad idea when a lot of those ships are British and American flagged.
That's the thing. Like, I don't. It's against it's almost against asymmetrical doctrine.
Yeah, and that's why I hesitate to call them a terrorist organization. Because I don't think they actually are.
Because they're I
think they're trying to be their own government.
They're engaging naval targets in conventional means
with comparable weaponry.
With decent technology, not good enough to actually, but good enough to create enough of a ruckus,
Right.
to divert freaking international trade. And but it's against doctrine, because it brings the planet on top of you. What the Houthis are doing is against the interest of every major country in the planet. Don't make any sense. Like, if you were to have a Chinese missile destroyer with an American missile destroyer and a Russian missile destroyer and a UK freaking destroyer hitting targets in Yemen, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, it wouldn't, like, what the fuck did you do?
Yeah.
Like, you're clearly punching above your weight here. What people don't understand is that Iran exists because it's allowed to exist. Iran has been allowed to exist.
Yeah.
Iran would not be here if the powers that be were to will it. It'd be gone. You know, I don't. Like, I get to be sympathetic and whatever, dude. Change your profile picture on Twitter or something. Do like what everybody else does. You know? Put a freaking Palestinian flag on your freaking Facebook, man, or something. Fucking interrupt international trade. You out of your fucking mind?
Right.
You're bringing the world on top of you. We got fucking people. We got fucking soldiers in space. What's wrong with you?
This is the thing.
You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Like, these fucking savages, man. So,
Begs the question: what would give a small organization like that the balls to do what they've done?
They don't.
The only thing I can think of that would give them that kind of encouragement if they had guarantees from a much bigger country like China or
it's
Russia.
all fucking religious piety, bro. It's just they got one.
It's too simple.
It is.
It's too simple.
There are simple people. Explain.
It's got to be more complicated.
Explain to me. It's probably that easy. It's freaking religious piety, man. They got some Ayatollah that's been freaking regurgitating their version of the freaking Quran forever and ever and ever and ever to all these people that had been marrying and having sex with their cousins forever and ever and ever. Because that's the downfall of the Middle East, is it not? I mean, the Middle East is a cradle of civilization and freaking science and technology for many years. And then at some point, something changed and they stalled, and now they're still
in the 1300s.
As a matter of fact, you go to Afghanistan and their calendar is not a Gregorian calendar. They got a different calendar. In Afghanistan, in Afghanistan it's like 16 whatever. It's come on, bro. It's come on, man. It's religious. Some Ayatollah got promised a lot of money and a lot of luxuries and a lot of things because he don't believe the shit that he's spitting, but it ensures his freaking livelihood and the livelihood of his kids and his family forever and ever and ever. And he's leading a cult. And that cult is freaking puts on green bandanas and just says freaking Allahu Akbar and off they go. It's really that simple because there ain't nobody in the Houthis making any kind of significant money. Where the money's gonna go? Where's the money going? It ain't going to that ground soldier. It ain't going to them dudes launching rockets. It's going to the technicians that are interpreting all the manuals and putting the hardware together, and the technical people. And ground troops aren't doing shit. They're just launching rockets. Ain't nobody making any money over there. And I guarantee you, the leader that brokered all this nonsense, he ain't even living in there.
Probably not.
That dude probably in Morocco somewhere, non-extradition, chilling.
Yeah.
We probably got a couple SAS guys on his tail right now, just freaking sitting there like watching this dude like a hawk. It's the nature of the business, man.
Right.
This has all been brokered by middlemen and whatever, and carried out by the little guy because he believes in the cause. Because as a Zionist or doing bad things and blah, because that's what he's been told, and that's what his dad was told, and that's what his grandpa's been told. That's what everybody been told since the beginning. Amen. It's fucking unfortunate. And they die for it. Unnecessary.
But, like we said in the beginning, there's nothing going on.
Yeah, nothing going on.
Cool.
It's fucking horrible. All those people dying for not a fucking thing. Not a fucking thing. It don't matter. Don't matter in the end. It's insane to me. And you got these idiots in politics here in the United States doing the same thing. They're trying to. Doing the same thing. So, Oregon is one of 2 states in the nation that, Texas being the other, where when a legislature comes together, the minority, you have to have two-thirds of of attendance in a legislative session
to be in quorum.
In order for a vote on a resolution or a bill to go, which is why we had a couple of years back, we had all them Democrats that hopped on a plane and left Texas. Remember that? Yeah. Well, because they don't have the majority, they know the vote's going to pass, so they flee to break the quorum, and then it doesn't get voted. You can't vote. So Oregon's another one of those. So Oregon's been passing these crazy friggin' legislatures and green energy and all this other stuff, and basically destroying their state, which is what they've been doing. They've been Californiaing the hell out of Oregon forever. And the Republicans, which are a minority over there, have been bouncing. So what they did is they put a new rule, and the Supreme Court ruled that you can't be gone for more than 10, I think, consecutive days out of office and keep your job. Right. It's basically the long story short. So they were having a vote, and the Republicans bounced, and the senators that bounced basically got banned from seeking re-election, so they could no longer serve as it's a disaster down there. But the state of Oregon is also dealing with the possibility, and it's a process, slow slogging process. Well, they got like 11 counties that want to secede, and they've submitted their.
They don't want to go to like Idaho or something.
They want to go to Idaho, yeah. And Idaho's saying, "Come on over." Yeah. The rural counties mainly. Rural counties. Yeah. The majority of the voters for the state of Oregon sit in the major cities, So it's they're underrepresented, and now with all the crazy stuff that's going down, because you start passing all these crazy laws about combustion engines and all this other nonsense. Who gets affected? Everybody, but mainly the farming industry suffers, and all these people that live in rural counties, they take a big blow, because it's not like you got the infrastructure to support that. This last freeze over in Chicago, if I could prove that to everybody. Yeah. That's just one city. All these freaking dead robots out there frozen, freaking. Yep. Nobody knew. Nobody could fix them. So, internal combustion engine. It's what
proven
forever.
About 130 years now.
I'm not a mechanical engineer, so I can't really get into the nitty gritty of everything. But I know for sure this stuff it's kind of weird. But but we'll see. It's there a lot of drama up there, and usually the problem with these type of regulations and laws and stuff like that is that they tend to trickle down to other states.
Yeah, it sets a precedent.
It's just what happened with them removing California. Was it California? Colorado did it first. Removed Trump from the ballot. Yeah. And then had to put him back. But I think as soon as they did that, and then all of a sudden California's like, ooh, we can do that too, So you can't claim to be fighting fascism and then
do something fascist.
Literally do the most fascist thing that you could possibly do.
Let's keep a political opponent from running at all.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they did.
That's exactly what,
It's how it happened over and over again.
That is literally fascism. They don't know what those words mean. They don't. A lot of these people don't.
Well, I won't go into that.
The what?
Nothing. Just keep going.
Oh, God.
Disregard.
Scratch that, Charlie Mike. Yeah. Yeah, but so much nonsense, man.
There's nothing going on. Everything's cool and copacetic.
Yeah, fucking Beto O'Rourke said some shit.
Who?
Beto.
Never heard of her.
You know who Beto O'Rourke is?
I know who the fuck you're talking about. I'm just that motherfucker is so irrelevant.
Yeah, he's still chirping. He says some shit about the border and all this other stuff about federalizing the National Guard and the da.
That's the thing, you always got a question, man. I was having that conversation with some guys at work. It's like, what could happen here? Well, there's a lot of things that could happen. One, the Border Patrol can stop following orders, in which case they're going to get warrants out for them. Texas DPS can keep following the orders of the governor, which they'll probably get warrants out for them. So could the Texas National Guard. But then you try to federalize the Texas National Guard, go ahead and activate them. The Texas National Guard can say, no. Now what? Now you have to go get them because that's a big one. Then they're talking about making the Texas State Guard, which, yes, there is a Texas National Guard, and then there is a Texas State Guard. The Texas State Guard is the official Texas militia, if you want to call it that. They are not a combat force. They are not armed. From what I understand, it's entirely comprised of officers. I don't think there are any enlisted in the Texas State Guard. I don't know. Correct me or whatever. I'll look it up later. Who gives a shit. But as far as I understand, it's completely comprised of officers. It's not armed. It's not a combat force. What they do, what I understand they do, is they go to disaster areas with the National Guard and they coordinate stuff to come into the disaster area. That's mostly what they do. But that's the Texas State Guard. You cannot federalize them.
No.
They only hold allegiance to the governor of Texas. That is it. Whoever that may be at the time. They only hold allegiance to the governor of Texas. Now, there are people telling Greg Abbott, it's like, you need to start weaponizing the Texas State Guard because they can't be federalized. That's the only force you're going to have if they choose to federalize the National Guard. Every person has a choice to make. In the Texas National Guard, you get an order from the federal government to say, hey, you're going to be deployed to wherever the fuck. No. Now you're disobeying a direct order, a lawful order from a superior officer. Now what? And who are you going to send in to arrest these guys? Active duty? The Louisiana Guard? They'll join them.
What are you talking about? They're helping us out.
So is the Florida Guard.
And their state guard came over as well.
Oh, did they?
Yep.
Yeah. I know the Florida National Guard has been sent over.
Florida State Guard came over as well.
Louisiana Guard has come over. So I mean, there's a lot of states on the Texas borders, not just Texas. But I mean, there's a lot of shit that could happen if the federal government tries to, because something definitive would be federalizing the Texas National Guard.
It's ugly. I don't like it.
Thing is, a lot of people don't know about the Texas National Guard. It's one of the strongest National Guards in the country, if not the strongest, because it's one of the few National Guards that has its own airborne, its own special forces, its own armor. And then you got the Texas Air National Guard. Has its own fighter squadrons. They come out here every now and again.
Yeah, that's no bueno, bro.
That's this thing. The Texas National Guard is a serious fighting force.
Yeah.
It's a serious fighting force. They got some legit people in there.
I know. I spent enough time with them in Afghanistan. So.
And they got a reputation to uphold.
Yeah. I mean, it's not good, man.
No kidding.
It's not good. I really hope Biden just shuts the fuck up and just
can't. It's in too deep.
Yeah, right?
It's in too deep.
They're in a blinking contest.
Did he?
They're like...
With Biden?
Yeah. Biden and fucking Abbott. They're in a blinking contest.
Oh, yeah.
It's like... Just sitting there. I mean... fuck. One can't talk, the other one can't walk. It's just... son of a bitch.
That's fucked up.
Son of a bitch. This is just fucking crazy, man. We need to get rid of all these old people.
Well, Abbott's not in a wheelchair because he's old. He's in a wheelchair because, what did he have? Like a log hit him or something like that? I don't know. He got paralyzed somehow, but
it was an accident.
It was an injury, yeah. He ain't in that wheelchair because he's old. Biden should be in a damn wheelchair.
I don't know, man. I
beats the shit out of the leash he's wearing.
Shit, that poor guy. Can't even talk. This is freaking crazy, man. I don't like that whole thing. It's just like,
I like seeing the lies on Twitter though. That's entertaining. I'm looking at one of them now. Joe Biden, the last guy, had the worst jobs record since the Great Depression. Our record is a little bit different. Yeah, you're the one that made the graphics, so
yeah,
of course. Fuck out of here, dude.
Yeah, of
lying
course.
Shit.
Yeah,
it's just bullshit. It's straight up bullshit. You can post whatever the fuck you want. Doesn't have to be the truth. 10 hours ago, he tweeted. Well, I mean, whoever tweets shit on Biden's crap. This month, I'll travel to East Palestine, Ohio, to meet with residents impacted by the Norfolk Southern train derailment. That was like 6 months ago, wasn't it?
That was freaking years ago.
That chemical thing? Chemical spill from the train derailment?
Yeah.
To discuss our commitment to supporting this community for as long as it takes and how we will continue to hold Norfolk Southern accountable. Good God. I almost completely forgot about that. Well done, Biden. Getting there just in the nick of who gives a shit. The fuck, man? Well, we hit everything I wanted to hit, man. That was all I got. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're good. It's just kind of like watching. As soon as you brought up Twitter, I'm like, let me bring up my Twitter and see what the heck is going on, because I'm pretty active on Twitter as well. So it's just.
Let's wrap up the show then.
Yeah, let's see.
So I know you. You're just going to get into one of those zones, and you're going to be talking shit on Twitter.
Yeah, it's just.
I see one of your posts right now.
Which one?
Johnson. Give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. Promise a man somebody else's fish for a lifetime, you create a Democrat. Accurate. I wouldn't put it past Johnson to have said that.
I mean, they're still pushing that insurrectionist stuff, so it's just...
Insurrection where?
Yeah, that insurrection thing. And... I don't know, this is freaking crazy. Like, Twitter's just a cesspool.
Right.
Yeah. I can't do Twitter no more. This is... Oh, my goodness. But that's all I got, man. Don't...
Wait, I'm watching a Chinese lady get stuck in between an elevator door and a wall.
No.
I just want to see if she dies. Doesn't matter because the door closed completely behind her and she's in between the elevator and the wall. It's pretty fucked up. Thanks, Twitter.
It's like that dude in that Easy Go Round. They try to get in the elevator after the elevator's doors closed. They seen that thing in a little cart.
Oh yes.
Like bang, he started ramming into the elevator shaft. It just went right down the shaft. And oh my God,
what you get for being an asshole?
It's like, what a jackass. It's like, that's insane, man. Oh, but that's all we got this week, man. It's just a bunch of nonsense. Just do your research, pay attention to stuff out there, keep your head on a swivel.
Hit us up on Twitter. You got to watch him talk shit about random people.
Yeah, same thing. At Eastcast on Twitter and freaking all our socials. Go ahead, give us a like and a subscribe. All of our content's being.
You need to leave this one girl alone.
What?
You need to leave this one girl alone.
Oh, the Syrian one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, come on. She lives in Australia. Talking crazy. Like, why is Americans on our oil fields?
Yeah, I see it. You live in Australia.
You live in Australia.
You can't even tell what country that is.
Syria.
Is that Syria?
Yeah.
That could be Arizona for all we know.
It's Syria. I know. I've seen the picture.
Yeah.
So yeah, we went over there to defend the oil fields. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
and bring democracy to those poor people and a safe, secure environment to people of Syria, Kosovo. I mean, Baghdad,
wherever the fuck we are.
Yeah, it's just whatever. But yeah, why are they messing with our oil fields? Like, man, I was surprised. She was suspended for a hot minute there because she did a post pro-Palestine and had a weapon and all this other shit, and the Australian government was like, no, that will not do, sir. It's like, come here, love.
Yeah, Twitter doesn't censor you, but we will.
Yeah. She got in a bit of hot water. There's some news articles on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, she posts dumb shit all the time. She's a fucking idiot. I hope she sees this shit. I was like, she's a fucking
She ain't
moron.
never gonna see this.
Probably not. We're not that big. I don't care. Whatever. But yeah, follow us on our socials and give us a like and subscribe. Remember, everything that we say is being suppressed. Every time we post, goes right to the bottom. The only thing that keeps us afloat with is, in the algorithms is the likes and subscribes. What are you looking at me like that?
The float. We're both in the hole over the show.
Oh yeah. I mean, whatever keeps us even freaking
I got you.
coming out on somebody's alerts is likes and subscribes.
That's
I
true.
mean, without those,
Any interaction helps a lot.
any interaction helps quite a bit, man. Because I mean,
Like, subscribe, comment,
they bury this content
get a discussion
immediately.
going.
As a matter of fact,
Or go fuck yourself.
yeah, whatever. I mean, whatever you want to do. It's like, I mean, we demonetized immediately.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah. We've never been concerned about monetization. We're
No,
trying to
of
make
course
money off
not.
this shit.
So it's you're like, you can't curse within the first 30 seconds of
fuck
any video.
that. I'm pretty sure I did.
Our intro.
Is our intro cussing?
Yeah. You can't even say shit.
Fuck them. Yeah.
Yeah. It was like, I'd eat that shit right off the top. Like, I think it's like 7 seconds into it.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's like 7 seconds into the video, we're already demonetized. It's fucking hilarious. We like
I completely forgot about that.
we like running in reverse here. Just backpedaling through life, Yeah, like first 7 seconds, we're already fucked.
Yes.
There ain't nothing YouTube could do about it. They're like, well, even if YouTube would like to help us, they can't. It's like, they're like, well, we were gonna pass, but here we go again.
Yeah.
Oh man, but that's all right. That censor's coming. That censorship is coming. They're voting on that stuff pretty soon. Trying to regulate the internet.
Yeah. I think we commented on that, a couple shows ago.
Yeah. It's starting to gain.
Is it gaining traction now?
It's gaining traction. Once they're slamming Facebook right now for all kinds of stuff. They're gonna mask it behind the protection of children.
Oh, of course.
Because Instagram apparently
That's what all the movies warned us about.
Well, yeah,
back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, a couple people
They have to protect the children.
Yeah, a couple people.
They can't hear things like this.
Yeah, a couple people found their way to kid explicit, explicit child exploitation content.
Oh, I remember that garbage. Yeah.
They're blaming Facebook.
They purposely did that.
I mean, it's like Mark Zuckerberg isn't sitting there looking at millions of posts. You know what I mean?
Kidding.
Like it's that's not his thing. But I mean, he was sitting at Congress there eating darts freaking all day the other day, and it's all for the same thing. They're gonna mask this regulatory commission to behind the protection of children. And what it's really going to be is they're gonna monitor everything you say, do, which they already kind of do in a way.
Yeah.
But that's the end of VPNs. That's the end of all that cryptocurrency. I mean, you're not gonna be able to hide anything. Any transaction you do over the internet, any conversations you have, they're also looking. They're looking into decrypting end-to-end encrypted communications, which Facebook is a big proponent of on the WhatsApp feature and some of these other applications that are out there that have end-to-end encryption. They want to see what you write. They want to see who you talk to. They want to see everything. And that's coming. Once that's done, You're only sophisticated camera system away from 1984.
Yeah.
George Orwell's
Those
1984.
camera systems already exist. They just
No, but
haven't been installed. Yeah.
that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like that. Once that happens, you're only one sophisticated camera systems installation away from being monitored at the level of George Orwell's 1984.
Yeah.
So if you guys haven't seen that, look at the movie. It's not half bad.
It's pretty it's
the
good
book
acting.
the book is
Better.
way more in depth,
Yeah.
but the movie gets the story across.
Yeah.
So, but that's all I got, man. Like, subscribe.
It's available on Prime.
It's available on Prime, yeah. Like and subscribe. See us. Come and visit us on all our other socials, and we'll see you guys in a couple weeks or whenever.